share this. Okay, are you able to view the PPT?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Great. So now chapter number 2 is also known as the summary of Bhagavad Gita. So Lord Krishna is very merciful. He does that, whatever he is going to speak, he is given in the nutshell. He is given in the summary, which is the chapter 2. So we will try to complete, at least half of the chapter 2 today. And again, there are some important shlokas which are going to come. So my request to you, both of you, is that, after the class, spend some time on reading those shlokas, and you will have full entire 1 week of time. You can try to, remember those shlokas with the meaning. So that will be really helpful as we progress. So, and if you find any difficulty, I can share you some tips. How do we memorize the shlokas?
Yes, Prabhuji. Kanishka has
Yeah,
joined, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Kanishka, thank you for joining. We are doing chapter number 2 today, and we are trying to do at least first half. So I was just telling them that chapter number 2 is the summary of Bhagavad Gita, and some very important shlokas will come in the chapter number 2. So let us start by offering the prayers. Om Ajnanatirmirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Bhagavad Gita, which is known as the Divine Song of God. Overview. In this chapter number 2, we are going to focus on these primarily 4 things. Guru, identity, what are the two dharmas, and what is Ananda, what is higher taste. And to remember this, we can remember by this wording Gita. Like in the previous one, we had doubt, DOUBT. So that will help us to remember the key topics, whatever we discussed in chapter number 1. And now this is chapter number 2. So G stands for Guru, I for identity, 2, T for two dharmas, and A for Ananda. Now, Guru is very, very important. We will understand in this particular class. So Guru, it talks about 1 to 10. So where Arjuna is asking guidance from Krishna. See, all the while, Krishna and Arjuna were friends. Whatever they did together, wherever they went, it was a friendly relationship. And in chapter number 1, Arjuna was having a lot of doubts, and he was trying to clarify his doubts. And that is how he was, trying to ask Krishna. But Krishna was very quiet. He was always quiet, and he was listening and smiling. He was just giving complete opportunity to hear. And like we were discussing in the previous class, that in first class, Krishna did not speak anything. I mean, in first chapter, Krishna did not speak anything. He was only listening. And that is a very good quality of a leader. Leader is always very attentive. He wants to hear first and then provide the solution based on the condition of the person who is, who has come to them. So here, this shloka, when Arjuna is speaking, this is Bhagavad Gita 2.7. So Arjuna is saying, Karpanya dosho upahata subhava prachami tvam dharma sammudha cheta yashriyashna nishchitam rohitan me shishyasteham shadimam tvam prapannam. Now Arjuna, he told all the questions, and then finally he said, now I am confused about my duty and have lost all composure because of miserly weakness. In this condition, I am asking you to tell me for certain what is best for me. Now I am your disciple and a soul surrendered unto you. Please instruct me. Now, this is the real quality. This is the real way we should be eagerly waiting to hear Bhagavad Gita. Krishna is going to speak now, and Arjuna is saying Karpanya dosho patasava. He is taking complete shelter of Krishna. And Krishna, he is ready to give the knowledge, because Arjuna has regarded Krishna as his guru now. Krishna is no more a friend now. Krishna is taking the charge of a guru. And when Krishna takes the charge of a guru, he speaks very, very clearly, and he speaks like the guru. He no more talks like a friend. So please stop me if you are having any doubts or if there is any confusion. So I told Krishna is ready to speak, and Arjuna is going to surrender to Krishna, right? Now, when we talk about surrender, it looks like, okay, surrender is a term we use for people who are, sometimes they say the terrorists have surrendered themselves, or surrendering is like feeling defeated or lost everything, something like that. But with devotee and Lord, it is the surrender is actually a winning situation. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita 18th chapter, he says, Sarva dharman parityajya mam ekam sharanam vraja. Sharanam, surrender is saranam. So Krishna is saying, come to my sharanam, surrender onto me. So it is not that, when we surrender, Krishna is going to punish us. Krishna is just saying, you surrender onto me. And in return, you know what I'm going to give you? I'm going to remove all your sinful reactions, which are there from so many lifetimes, which you are carrying like a size of a mountain, and because of which you are having so many problems, so many sufferings, so many difficulties, so many anxieties, so many situations. It is because of the sinful reactions which we are carrying from the previous life, which we have committed, whether knowingly or unknowingly. So when we are ready to surrender to Krishna, Krishna is saying, I'm going to remove all those difficulties from your life. Now tell me, is surrender a good thing or bad thing after hearing what Krishna told in Bhagavad Gita 18th chapter?
It's a good thing, Prabhuji. It's one of the best thing to choose.
Yes, it is. It is. It is a good thing. It is one of the best thing. Now, surrender means you are eager to learn, and that shows that shows that you are humble and acknowledging weakness. Now, when I talk about weakness, what weakness am I talking about here? It says we are talking about our weakness, saying that okay, yes, I agree, this is my weakness. Now, let me give an example of a student. So there's a student who has done well in all the subjects, but for some reason the student is not able to do good in mathematics. Now he knows that he is weak in mathematics, and that is why he's not able to do good. He tries so many things. He tries to, learn from YouTube, or he tries to solve the problems. But even, eventually he is not scoring good. Now he knows that it is his weakness. Now tell me one thing: is it good for him to just keep his weakness to himself, or it is good to share his weakness to his father, to his parents, so that they can help him out? I think Kanishka is a student; she can tell this better. Kanishka, you can unmute if it is possible, or anybody can answer them for that matter.
It is best to surrender to the Guru and to know what is like to all like overcome the weakness.
Mhm. So for the student, is it good to surrender to tell his parents that that he is weak in mathematics so that they can help him out?
No, no, Prabhuji.
It's not good. Okay. So actually, it is good for the
Mm,
student to tell the parents that okay, my dear father, I am weak in a particular subject, which is mathematics, and now I need help. So what will father do? Father will say, okay, fine. Now because you have told you are weak, now let me do something. Let me arrange a tuition for you, or let me sit with you so that I can guide you, and then we can then you can score good in mathematics. So it is important to understand the weakness, and weakness for the living entity is that we do not remember what we have done in the previous life, and we do not know that what is going to come to us in the next day, next moment. We do not know, right? Because we are not God. We cannot know that. That's our weakness. The weakness is that we are not perfect. If we were perfect, then the saying would not be there, which says practice makes a man perfect, right? So we are not perfect, and we have imperfect senses. When we look into the sun, it appears to be a very small ball kind of thing, but sun is not like that. When we are sitting in the aeroplane and when we see down, we see buildings are very, very small, but actually buildings are not very small, they're big. So our senses are not perfect, and then we make mistakes, right? Tendency to make mistake. There are people who publish one book, then after some time they publish the first edition, then they publish the second edition. Why? Because in the first edition, I think there were some things which they could not include, so now they have published the second edition. In the same manner, if you see the Constitution of India, the Indian Constitution, it has got more than 300 amendments from the time it came into being. Can somebody tell me when was the time when Indian Constitution came into being? This is the general knowledge question out of the syllabus of Bhagavad Gita.
I think it was in 1949.
1949. Okay. Any other answers? I think it was the 1950, Madhaji, because remember that we
Okay.
celebrate 26 January. I don't know, we can Google about it, but somewhat I vaguely
Yeah.
remember it is 1950. But never mind. So from 1950, now it is going to be 75 years. In the 75 years, it has got more than 350 amendments, which means the constitution which was drafted in 1950, there were a lot of changes which were required, and that is how you see that these amendments are done. And these amendments are not easy process. They have to take the buying from all the MPs, and there's a process which goes in place, and then it goes through an approval, and then this amendment comes into picture. So those changes have taken place in the Indian Constitution also. So in the similar manner, if you see any books which is published, they have second edition, third edition, things like that. But if you look at Bhagavad Gita, there were 700 shlokas in Bhagavad Gita, which was applicable 5,500 years ago. And we have the same 700 shlokas which are applicable now. That tells us if something is coming from God, something is coming from Krishna, it has got no errors, it has got no weakness, it has got no imperfection. It is all perfect. All perfect. There are no chances of mistakes because it is coming from God. That's the difference. So we understand that we might be very intelligent, but as a human being, because of our body, because of our limitations, we do have some certain weakness, and because of that we cannot understand things by our own endeavor. So what we need to do is we need to understand, we need to acknowledge it, and after acknowledging, what we need to do, we need to desire a bona fide teacher to guide through the challenges of life. Now, two things are coming up here. Number one, bona fide teacher. The second thing is challenges of life, right? Can somebody tell me what are the challenges we see in our lives? Maybe you can name one or two. Do we face any challenges? Or there are no challenges?
Not able to manage time.
Okay, time management is a challenge, yes. What other challenges?
I think, it's every time, every day, there's a new challenge. So
Okay, every time, every day, there is a new challenge.
it might be work related, it might be, as she told, time management or relationship, anything. Every day is a challenge.
Correct, yes. So every day is a challenge. Now, when we have this bona fide guru is the guru who is going to tell us what is right and what is wrong and how do we lead our life, right? So when we talk about bona fide means somebody who is coming in the proper disciplic succession, guru and shishya parampara. There can be nobody in the age of Kali, who can say, okay, I am very enlightened person. There is no guru. But I am the guru of so many people. It is not possible, right? So when we look into ISKCON temple, we have guru parampara system, which is called bona fide, disciplic succession. And this is clearly explained in chapter number 4. When we go to chapter number 4 of Bhagavad Gita, we see what Krishna is talking about, the guru parampara system. So this is very important point. I think all of you can make note of it. When we are talking about learning Krishna consciousness, when we are talking about, first point is eager to learn. There are a lot of things we need to learn, right, in terms of Bhagavad Gita. So it is not possible until unless we surrender. And like I said, surrender is not something which is very bad, which is weak, but surrender is the best thing to do, because when we surrender, we get reciprocation from Krishna, right? When we are humble and when we acknowledge that, yes, as a human, there are weakness in everybody, and so it is applicable to me as well. I might be very intelligent, I might be very, very, successful in the material world, but still, as a human being, there are certain weaknesses which we need to acknowledge, and then In order to overcome all that, we need to have a bona fide teacher who can tell us how can we maneuver through the challenges of life. Okay, so let us proceed from here now. So there are certain preconditions for surrender. What are those preconditions? Let us look into those. It takes a lot of courage and humility to accept failure and one's own weakness. But unless we accept it, we cannot succeed in life. Success has many fathers, but failure is an orphan. So, like we discussed these points, it takes a lot of courage to understand, yes, never mind, everybody has got weakness, so am I. And now it is time to overcome those weaknesses. That's the thought a successful person will have, because they will not have a thought that, okay, I will not even show that my weakness, but I will keep this weakness all the time. No, a successful person, a very intelligent person, is the one who recognizes the weakness and wins over it. So let us see what does it talk about. So we spoke about guru in this particular these particular couple of slides. So the meaning of surrender is that we need to surrender to a bona fide teacher. We cannot just go and say, okay, I make you as my guru, or I make somebody as my guru. No, there are certain qualifications to accept a guru, and that first qualification is the guru should have a guru, and then his guru should have another guru. So when I talk about my Guru Maharaj, his name is His Holiness Jayapataka Goswami Guru Maharaj. His guru was Srila Prabhupada, and Srila Prabhupada's guru was Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, and his guru was Gaur Kishore Das Babaji, and Gaur Kishore Das Babaji's guru was Bhakti Vinod Thakur, and Bhakti Vinod Thakur's guru was Jagannath Das Babaji, and Jagannath Das Babaji's guru were six Goswamis. So like that, we have Guru Parampara system until Krishna himself, right? So we know that whatever knowledge we are going through, it is the perfect knowledge because it is coming from the Guru and Sishya Parampara. That was a very important point which will be applicable throughout our journey in ISKCON. So we discussed about precondition. Now let us talk about identity. So I was talking about, eager to learn. What do we need to learn? Who are you? So if I ask, who are you? Somebody asks me, I can give my introduction. My name is so and so, and I work in this company. That's my position, and I manage so many people. I've got, these many leads under me, and overall, I have got a team of say 200 people, and this is what is my job. Blah blah blah, right? So somebody asks me, what is your age? I say, okay, I am 40 years old. So if the person asks, what were you 50 years back? So I will have no answer. I'll say, Arey boss, I am only 40 years old. What are you saying 50 years back? How will I know what I was there 50 years back? So that is where the question comes, who are you? See, we know our body, we know our bodily connection, but we do not know from where we have come, what was our real situation, before we were born, where were we? So many questions are there. So let us see, what does this slide talk about? I stands for identity. So first one we discussed G, which is for Guru. I is for identity. Identity crisis, misplaced, mistaken identity, unreal understanding of self. Like I was discussing, if you just talk about your body, then you're talking only about your body, which was different 20 years back and which will be different again in the coming 20 years back. So if you are the body, then why are you changing? Right? We would remain same, but it is changing. So we identify ourselves with the body, and our identity changes along with the body. And that is what is called misplaced or mistaken identity. So idea of self. There's a shloka in Bhagavad Gita 2.13. So first shloka which we discussed was Bhagavad Gita 2.7. Please make a note of it, and you can also by heart that along with the meaning. And now this second shloka which is coming up, 2.13, very important shloka in Bhagavad Gita, says Dehno asmin yatha dehe kaumaram yoganam jara tatha dehantara praptirthiras tatra na muhyati. If you see this picture, very beautiful picture, there is a small boy, and then there is another boy, and then you see there is a uncle, and there's another uncle, very old uncle, like that, right? So as the embodied soul continuously passes in this body from boyhood to youth to old age, the soul similarly passes into another body at death. A sober person is not bewildered by such a change. Okay. So before I go to this composition of myself, I would give a pause here for any questions till now, whatever we have discussed. You can ask me questions about this slide. You can ask me questions about this, or anything. I'm just taking you back to the beginning. We spoke about overview, Guru identity, two dharmas, and Ananda. Then we spoke about Guru. Arjuna is asking Krishna, please guide me. And that is told in Bhagavad Gita 2.7. Arjuna was confused, so he is asking guidance. That is also a kind of surrender, because Arjuna is clearly saying, I am confused about my duty. And now he's saying, now I am your disciple. And our soul surrender unto you. Now he's a disciple of Krishna, and he's saying, now please guide me. I am at your mercy. And this is possible for people if you're eager to learn, if you're humble and acknowledging your weakness and selecting a bona fide guru. And then preconditions, we have discussed already. And then we spoke about identity. And in the identity, we spoke about we are identifying ourselves only with the body, right? So if there are no questions still here, we can proceed with the addition to it now. So we spoke about body, that we are not the body. Now the question comes, if we are not the body, then who we are? So there are three things with us. There is a gross body, which gets separated at death. The moment person dies, immediately,
Guru,
yeah.
I'm sorry to interrupt.
Sure.
The sloka number I forgot.
Yes, it is 2.13.
Okay, thanks, Guruji.
Yeah, sure. So we're speaking about gross body, which gets separated at the death. Like we see, if I ask you, where is Akbar the Great now? Now, Akbar the Great, you can say he is in his graveyard or wherever. But that is not the right answer. That is only his body. Akbar the Great has gone. All his creation, whatever he has done, it is all there. Fatehpur Sikri and everything is there. But he is not there. Where is he gone? Nobody knows. Now, the second part is subtle body, which gets separated at liberation. So remember, subtle body is always going to be with us unless the person is getting liberated. If a person is a man, the subtle body is going to be with them. If a person is a dog, the subtle body is going to be with them as well. And then the third thing is soul. Now, soul is our true identity. We are not the body, we are the spirit soul. Now, let me tell you a little more detail about what is gross body's composition. So, gross body consists of these five panchabhuta: earth, water, air, fire, and ether. Now, there's a subtle body which we're talking about. Subtle body is made up of mind, false ego, and intelligence. So, we have our intelligence with us, right? Nobody can see the intelligence. Where is intelligence lying? But there is an intelligence. And that intelligence is there in the dogs, also in animals, also. If you chase a dog with a stick, the dog is intelligent enough to run away from there or counterattack. Correct? If you give a dog, a biscuit, a dog is intelligent enough to understand, okay, this person is good person giving me a biscuit. So there is an intelligence even in the animals, right? There's an eagle flying very high, very high up in the sky, and from there he is utilizing his senses very intelligently. He can figure out where is the prey he needs to catch. So using his intelligence, he comes sharp on the prey, attacks them, and catches them. So that's his intelligence. So remember, if we talk about intelligence going forward, intelligence is part of the subtle body. It has got nothing to do with our gross body, which is made of these five elements. Now, intelligence is with us, mind is with us, right? We talk about mind. My mind is telling this to me, my mind is saying this to me, I think I should do this, I should listen to mind or whatever. And there's something called false ego. Why it is false ego? When we consider ourselves to be a body, right? That is called false ego. We don't know that who we are. That is how it is a false ego. Now there is a soul which is Sat, Chit, and Anand. Sat is truth, Chit is knowledge, Anand is pleasure. So this soul is made up of Satchidanand. Normally, a soul should be very happy all the time, full of knowledge, truthful, and pleasureful. And Sat, another meaning is that it is eternal. That is how the soul is. It never dies. Like Krishna, like God never dies. In the same manner, the soul never dies. What dies? Only the body dies. Now, this subtle body, it goes along with the soul in the next body. So if a human becomes a dog, these two, subtle body and the soul will enter the dog's body. So this is the breakup of the things which are with us. And there are a lot of things we will learn in the coming chapters. How does our decision making happen? How do people think in a particular manner? How do they change their feeling? what kind of eating habits affect our thinking process. Like that, many things will come, but I will go slowly one by one. So here, what happens after death? Subtle body goes to the next gross body. Example, old shirt and the new shirt. Okay. So this is about the soul. It says soul is indestructible. Like I was saying, it never dies, right? This third one. The soul never dies. The soul is indestructible. And the shloka, Bhagavad Gita 2.23, another very important shloka, which says, Nayanam chindanti shastrani, Nayanam dahati pavaka, na chayanam kledayantyapo, na shoshayati marutaha. The soul can never be cut to pieces by any weapon, nor burned by fire, nor moistened by water, nor withered by the wind. So we can cut, body into pieces, but soul is so much powerful that you can never cut it into pieces. There is no weapon which can burn the soul. There is no water which can moisten the soul, or there is no wind which can make it dry. Right? The soul is like that, and we are eternal soul. We are changing so many bodies. We identify ourselves with the body, but we are the spirit soul, and that is the first knowledge which ISKCON provides. In the Gita courses, which we must know that we are not the body, we are the spirit soul. This is a very very important point which we must remember, and we can understand this by lot of by multiple things. There's a very nice story comes up in this regard. Let me tell you the story, and then we will discuss about the soul part. Okay, I think that story is still yet to come. It is the story about a woman who brings a parrot, and tries to just clean the cage, and the parrot dies eventually. So we have got less than 2 minutes now. I will stop here. We are at the slide number 14. We have good similar amount of slides to go to cover, and which are very very important topics. Now here, what I request you is that if you have any doubts in these things, whatever we have discussed, especially this slide, I will also send a screenshot of this in our group, so that you can have a copy, or maybe you can also take a screenshot if it is possible for you. This is very important to understand who we are, and there are multiple shlokas in Bhagavad Gita. We are not the body, we are the spirit soul. Okay? I'll take a pause here for any questions anybody has got.
Prabhuji, can you tell what is like meaning of Sachita Ananda?
Yes. Sat meaning is eternal, truthful, and Chit is full of knowledge, and Ananda is pleasure. And these are the qualities of the soul. Our soul should be like this, very, very happy. And that is why you see the Paramhamsa devotees, very powerful devotees. So they become very happy when they understand their real condition, the real situation. So they are very, very happy, and they have realized their actual nature. Apart from them, everybody is covered by different conditioning. I will explain about conditioning in the next class. But yes, or if you can stay back, I think we can rejoin the same link, and we can stay back another 15 minutes, and I can explain about conditioning process. Is that okay?
Yes.
Okay, so I think we can drop off, and again we can join the same link.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.